As the '68 elections approached, the country was tearing itself apart. Vietnam, campus upheavals, Black Power protests. The Democratic Party was self-destructing and lurching to the left. Alabama's George Wallace and many other Southerners, whose values were more traditional and some say racist, broke from the party. Wallace's appeal was raw.
You've got some folks out here who know a lot of four-letter words, but there are two four-letter words they don't know. W-O-R-K and S-O-A-P. You don't know those two-letter words, I'll say that much.
Republicans saw a chance to take the White House.
He's referring to the
I have news for you. This time there's a difference. This time we're going to win.
And then he did. A new coalition was forming for Republicans. With Wallace breaking open the Democratic coalition, Republicans could now go after Southerners, Westerners, urban ethnics, Catholics.
And basically the way you got those people is with fairly conservative socialists.
Elected in the landslide,
Tough line on crime, patriotic view.
Very conservative points of view, and then he wasn't conservative when he was president.
Conjoined with a fairly popular view of economics, people like this tended to support the notion of entitlement programs like Social Security, of building roads or aid to education.
Nixon remained a fascinating puzzle. He often sounded conservative, but in practice he was a much more moderate president than remembered, especially in domestic affairs. It was striking just how many Republicans wanted to become moderates those days. In 1966, George Bush had been elected to Congress from a Houston suburb, and he was soon working for family assistance and birth control.
Birth control is a very private and certainly personal matter. There's a big job to be done in providing dignified services to the estimated 5.3 million American women who want to avail themselves to family planning services in order to have the knowledge necessary to make a personal choice of birth control methods, whether it be the pill or the IUD or the rhythm or any of these other things.
By 1972, Nixon had a full-fledged program to tackle social problems.
Yeah, it was about that time when Roe versus Wade came into the words and so on.
To combat crime and drug abuse, to improve health service, to ensure that no one will be denied needed health care because of inability to pay, to protect workers' pension trusts, to promote equal opportunity for members of minorities and others who have been left behind.
Nixon's frequent efforts to create new government programs left conservatives unhappy.
Nixon clearly was no conservative. We have a great society now, even to this day, because of Richard Nixon. Lyndon Johnson passed into law the Great Society. Nixon funded it.
To stop inflation, Nixon slammed on wage and price controls in August 1971. It was a turning point for conservatives. It helped him win the 1972 election, but it was a direct assault on free enterprise, and the right has never forgiven him.
I am today ordering a freeze on all prices and wages throughout the United States for a period of 90 days.
But I'm willing to forgive them Watergate, but I'm not willing to forgive them floating the dollar, instituting wage and price controls, or reaching quite so hard as they did for the taunt.
Nixon's largest accomplishments were in foreign affairs. America has rarely had a team to match Nixon and Henry Kissinger. After a long traumatic period, they negotiated a withdrawal of U.S. troops from Vietnam. Together, they opened the door to China. And they negotiated more treaties with the Soviet Union than any other administration in history. Détente reigned. Most of the country applauded. But again, a Republican president found some of his toughest critics were on the right. Nixon was retreating not only on free enterprise, but anti-communism, the two core beliefs of the post-Goldwater conservatives.
Many conservatives were opposed to any negotiations with the Soviet Union. And I believe then, and I believe now, that in a nuclear age, it is imperative to negotiate with the country that together with us has the capacity to destroy humanity.
All the while, a time bomb was ticking away in the White House. In 1974, it exploded. Nixon always had a dark side, and in Watergate he succumbed to it. He became the first president in history to resign. For the second time in a dozen years.
And what's interesting about this particular sequence, again, talking about the political loyalties.
And so,
here he is resigning from the presidency of the United States, one of the most humiliating moments in American history.
in good spirit.
And his party members and his party affiliates and supporters are around him.
I want to say for each and every one of you, not only will we always remember you, not only will we always be grateful to you, but always you will be in our hearts and you will be in our prayers. Thank you very much.